All right, students, here it is. The final quadratic equation question, I suppose. The portrait painter's blooper. Step 1, identify A, B, and C. Step 2, do the discriminant. Step 3, fill it out. And then step 4, there's going to be a little bit of work between step 3 and step 4. But again, really breaking down the formula. I'm trying to show you one of the best ways to kind of slide it on through with the quadratic equation. It's just a formula. It's not a big deal. If we break it down into smaller steps, it's going to be okay. So first step, let's identify A, B, and C. So the A value is a 1, the B value is an 8, and then the C value is a negative 20. Now, they won't always be in perfect order, but keep in mind the A value is always connected to the x squared, the B value is always connected to the lone x, and then the number that's all by itself is the C value. Okay, step 2, let's do B squared minus 4AC. So 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times a negative 20 is, hopefully it's not too bad of a number. Here we go. 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 20. Notice again, I use brackets. I like to go slow and smooth. There's the one from the prior example. Should clear my calculator out. 144 is the discriminant. Oop, I can spell 1, 4, 4. Spell. You don't spell numbers, right? You just put them in the right order. Here we go. All right, so we got the discriminant is 144. All right, so let's fill out the equation. Okay, so again, a negative b is going to go here, and then a 2a is going to go there. So the 144 is going to go here. So 144 though goes there. A negative b goes right here, because again, that's the formula. So a negative 8 is going to go right here. 2 times a is a 2. All right, so this is where these answers are going to come from. All right, so I kind of combine the next two moves into one. So we have a negative 8 plus and minus the square root of 144 divided by 2. So I kind of split it into two pieces. So we still have the negative 8. I'm going to go ahead and split the plus and the minus into a plus and into a minus. Okay. The square root of 144, I believe, is a 12. Okay. So again, I'm splitting the plus and the minus, and I'm also simplifying the radical. So I'm doing two moves in one. Completely legal. That's okay. Now I need to make sure I do that first, because when you have one of these large fraction bars, and this is probably the, I don't want to say the worst mistake, but it's the easiest one to make, because you're right at the end. You've done all of this work, and then some people forget. I'll show you what people do. I'll show you here. Okay. Let's say you're going to do that first one right there. Here we go. So they do negative 8 plus 12. And then they do divided by 2. Oh, man, that is not right, okay? Because if you notice, it's a big fraction bar, which means you need to do all of that and then divide by 2, and then divide by 2. So sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when I split the plus and the minus, instead of having this giant fraction bar, I just use brackets to remind myself to combine the top numbers and then divide by 2. Okay, so don't trip at the finish line. That's a bad thing to do. That's not good for anybody's ego. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Bracket, negative 8. And again, I take my time because I go too fast and I make mistakes. Here we go. Negative 8 plus 12 divided by 2. 2. Okay, so one of my answers is a positive 2. Write that down. And then bracket, negative 8 plus 12. Oh, no. Slow and smooth, bro. Try to believe your own rhetoric here. Negative 10. Okay. So one answer is 2, one is negative 10. So the smaller number is the negative 10, actually. And then the larger number is 2. So when it comes to smaller and larger, remember positives and negatives. This one's colder than that one. All right, that's it. I think that's all I got, friends. Here we go. So that's the whole equation. You will be a lot faster than I will be, because I'm also explaining this. But again, A, B, C. Find the discriminant. Plug in the negative b, the 2a, the discriminant. Rewrite. One step, two step, boom. Okay? So the quadratic equation is really not that bad if you just slow down and do it right. Okay, that's the portrait painter's blooper.